Here we will solve one example problem as per working state method, ultimate load method, and the living state method. Here we will see, if we consider three defined philosophy, then what is the size of the column is coming. Okay, this is very simple problem. Problem is defined as 1 kN load is applied axially to a short column made of plain concrete having length of 1 meter. What will be the area of cross sections of the column if M30 grade concrete is used? So here the first thing is given that load is applied axially. So here it is saying that there will not be any eccentricity in the applied loading. So basically load will cause only axial deformations. Second thing is given, the column is very short. Again it is saying that the column is short. Basically it is saying that column will fail due to the crashing of the concrete only. There will not be any failure due to the buckling or bending. Okay. So since the load is applied axially, that also will not cause any bending moment or buckling problem, and column also short. So basically it is saying that column will fail due to the crashing of the concrete only or failure of the concrete only. And another part is given that the column is made of plain concrete. So it is saying that there is no reinforcement. So we have to consider only plain concrete. And last one is given that we are using M30 grade of concrete. Okay. So these are the things are given. Now before going to the problem, we should again recall that our stress strain curve as per our different design philosophy. Here the first graph you will see that this graph basically that actual nature of concrete. Okay, this right side part is due to the compressive force or compressive stress, and left side that below this graph is due to the tensile stress. Below is the our eyeglass graph. So it is saying that first of all we are neglecting that softening part. Which part is coming here? Okay, after the maximum load, that part we are neglecting. Now as per our working stress design philosophy, it is saying that we should consider up to the linear part of the graph. Okay, linear part means the if you draw a tangent on the initial portion of the stress strain curve of the concrete, that part basically we will consider for our design. Okay, to ensure that what working stress method is saying that we should consider that permissible stress is up to 1/4 of the compressive strength. Okay, so it is saying that if you go to the table 21, it is saying that if the compressive stress is occurring due to the bending, okay, if compressive stress is occurring due to the bending, suppose this is one beam, okay, suppose this is our one beam and load is applied here, okay, due to that basically this will be our deform shape. Now if this is our deform shape, this bottom fire will be under tension, but the top portion, if we consider the neutral axis somewhere here, okay, above the neutral axis part will be under compression and bottom part will be under the tension. Okay, so it is saying that if the compressive stress is occurring to the bending, then in that case we should use the maximum allowable compressive stress up to 1/3 of the actual strain of the concrete. Okay, and if the stress is coming due to the direct compressive stress or direct compression, okay, if the compressive force is due to the direct loading or direct compression, in that case we should use 1/4 of it. Okay, so if you go to the table 21, in that case you will find that compressive stress is 8. Okay, if it is the M30 grade concrete, that allowable compressive stress value is the 8 megapascal. Okay, you should not be confused with the megapascal and the pascal. Pascal is basically 1 Newton per meter square. Megapascal will be the 10 to the power 6 Newton per meter square. So what happens if you convert it meter square to the millimeter square? So 1 megapascal is to come 1 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, so basically here allowable stress is 8 MPa, that means 8 Newton per millimeter square. Now again we are knowing that stress is basically load by the area. Okay, that compressive stress, whatever is occurring due to the compressive force by the area. Now from there we can calculate what is the area is coming. Area will be your force divided by allowable stress. Now for the working stress method, this allowable stress is your 8. Okay, so now if we consider the 1000 loads C here in that working stress method, we used to consider defined combination of load. Okay, but we are not applying any load factor. Okay, we are not enhancing the load, we are just considering different combination of load. If you see IS 875 part 5, there we will find. So I will discuss after a few class the different IS code such as IS 456, IS 875. Okay, there we will find that in case of working stress method, getting different load factor for different loading. We are just combine the loading and the worst case we are considering. So since we are considering here only dead load, so we are using the same load 1000 Newton. So now area as per working stress method will be 1000 Newton divided by 8, which is our allowable stress. Now for that case it is coming 125 millimeter square. This is the area. Okay, now if you consider the square section, then it will be easy for us to compare. Okay, so here if we take the square root of it, the size of the column will be 11.18 mm. This is as per our working stress method. Ultimate load method is saying that we used to consider the maximum compressive strain, or you can say the stress which is coming in the nonlinear zone, which is very close to our maximum compressive strain. Okay, so since we are using M30 grade concrete, so I am assuming here 25, so somehow lower than the 30, okay, near about 30. For our ultimate load method, this method also is called the load factor method. Okay, here we are assuming one load factor 1.4 to enhance the load. Basically what we are saying, that we will increase the load, whatever the load is coming, we will multiply with some factor of safety, so that our structure will be safe. Okay, so here we are assuming 1.4. So total load is coming 1.4 into 1000. Now as per our work, so as per our ultimate load method, you will find what is the area is coming. So area is coming 56 millimeter square. Okay, now if you take the square root of it, it is coming 7.4 mm size. Okay, now see, now we can compare that what is the area is coming as per our working stress method and what is the area is coming as per our ultimate load method. Okay, now we will consider limit state method. Okay, second, before going to the limit state method, we should see our stress strain graph. What is the idealized graph is saying as per our limit state method. So limit state method is saying that if your maximum strain value is FCK, okay, there first we will apply some size factor, because that FCK value we are getting from that cube test. FCK value we are getting from the cube test. Okay, but axial size may be different, so there is some size effect. So first factor we are applying due to the size effect. So here we are assuming the 67% strength we will consider. FCK value is coming 30. In that case, for structural concrete, it will be 67% of the FCK value. So the second graph here is that B graph. The B graph is showing the strength as per our structural concrete. Now again it is saying that since there is various uncertainty, basically we are considering 0.45 FCK value. Okay, this is our allowable stress as per our limit state method. Okay, again limit state method also, you will see limit state method also apply one load factor to enhance the load. So what we are doing, we are enhancing the load by applying applying some factor of safety. We are enhancing the load by applying some factor of safety, and at the same time we are also reducing the allowable stress. Okay, so both the way we are basically try to make the safe side. Now here if you consider both the things, so if you consider 0.45 FCK, in that case it is coming 13.5. For the area will come 111.11. Okay, so if you take the square root of it, you will get 10.5. Now if you see here, if we consider working stress method, that area is coming 11.18. If we consider ultimate load method, it is coming 7.1. If you are considering ultimate load method or ultimate stress method, in that case it is coming 7.4 mm, and if you consider limit state method, it is coming 10.5. Okay, this value can be differ little bit. If in the case of ultimate load method, if we consider different load factor, I assume 1.4. Okay, if you consider the three method, here you can see that as per working stress method the size is coming high, okay, and ultimate load method size is low, and as per our limit state method is coming in between these two. Okay, working stress method is not economical because the size is more, we have to use more amount of concrete. Ultimate load method is showing economical, but here we are somehow compromising with the serviceability problem, you can say, because since that size is small, okay, if the cross section is small, in that case your uh, there can be large deformations of the column. Okay, and one more thing, it may have one more thing, you should remember that stress strain pattern basically if it is coming non-linear, in that case it is basically function of that stress also. So here if you see here, when the curve become non-linear here, okay, at particular point what the stress is coming, that strain is a function of the stress. Okay, if there is some sudden or slight changes, if there is some slight changes in the stress value, then the stress strain path may be different. Okay, so it is very difficult for us to judge that how it is going to behave. Okay, unless you do proper study one for unless you do some proper study on the particular concrete, okay, you cannot be sure what will be the stress strain pattern. Okay, so it is the dangerous part of that ultimate load method. Okay, because concrete is various, because the concrete is inhomogeneous in nature, and there is various factor which is influencing the strain of the concrete. Okay, and stress strain pattern also, or you can say the strain is also function of the stress. So if there is some slight changes in the stress value, that concrete may follow different path. Okay, so unless you study properly, okay, what is the stress and behavior is coming for concrete, we should not go for nonlinear analysis, we should not go for nonlinear design, we should not use that nonlinear stage for the design purpose. As a design practitioner, basically we should not go for we should not for, as a design practitioner we should not consider nonlinear stage for the design purpose. Okay, for research purpose you can do, okay, but if that unless you study properly what is the stress and behavior for particular concrete, for your concrete, it will be very difficult to say what will be the deformations at particular stage. So suppose if this is stress here you can see, suppose this stress is coming here, some you see in 30, you see suppose this stage is 30, suppose this stage is 30 here, okay, and if you slightly change the value here, that curve may be different somewhere here, sometimes it may fail suddenly also. Okay, so you will not be able to judge how it is going to behave at that ultimate stress conditions. In the ultimate load method, we are compromising with the serviceability criteria because the area is coming low, so there will be large deflections. In the case of limit state method, you will find the limit state method considering both the conditions, serviceability as well as safety. So basically you can say that limit state method gives some optimized value. Okay, there is no guarantee that the structure will not fail, but the probability of failure will be low if you design as per our limit state method. One more thing, you have to see that the stress strain graph here, if you see that this is your stress strain graph for the concrete, when you are considering this the stress which is reaching to that nonlinear zone, okay, in that case that sigma is equal to E into epsilon, where E we are assuming to be constant, that E will not be, the Young modulus will not be constant here. Every time you have to see how the tangent is progressing, and from there you have to see what is the stress and what is the relation between the stress and the strain. Suppose you are conducting one test, compression test using displacement control machine, and in that case you are giving that incremental change of displacement, or in case incremental change of strain is high. Okay, in that case you will find this stress strain pattern may not follow the same path. It may follow the different path like this. It may follow the different path like this. Okay, some case it may follow some other path. So here basically you will not be sure that how stress and strain is going to behave unless you do proper study at each unless you do the proper study for your particular concrete. So slight change in the basically strain pattern may lead to the drastic change in stress pattern also. Slight change in the strain pattern, slight change in the strain pattern may lead to the drastic change in the stress. So for this case, if you are using nonlinear analysis, in that case you should go for proper analysis of that particular concrete you are using for your design purpose. If you are beginner, in that case you should not use nonlinear data for a design purpose. Basically designer should avoid it unless you are sure that how the stress strain is going to behave for particular load, how the stress is going to behave, how what is the stress strain pattern for a particular grade of concrete. And another thing that there is concrete, there is a lot of parameters which are influencing the strain of the concrete. So you should be sure that you are knowing all the distribution, all the things, then only you should go for the, you should use that nonlinear part of that concrete for a design purpose. Here in the ultimate load method, what we are doing is first calculating the stress as per our service load, or you can say working load, and then we multiplying with the load factor to get the factor load for the ultimate load method. What we are doing here, we are basically still we are using the linear elastic theory. We are doing, we are initially first calculating the stress which is coming at the service load, and then we multiply it with the load factor to get the factor load as per our ultimate load method. Okay. So basically this method is still based on the linear elastic theory. So if you see this graph here, what happened, this is the stress which is coming due to the factor load. So what I want to say, that whatever the stress you are calculating as per working load, that is linear elastic theory, based on linear elastic theory, and what are the, if you multiply it with the load factor, what are the stress will come, that also will be based on the linear elastic theory. But concrete at a particular time, when the load already reaches to the ultimate stage, okay, the stress in the concrete already reaches to the nonlinear zone, then how it possible? So what I want to say, that when you calculating the load, when you calculating the stress as per our service load, that is based on linear elastic theory, when we multiply it with the load factor, that basically we are multiplying with the load factor, basically we are multiplying with the constant load, that stress which is coming to the factor load also will be based on the linear elastic theory. But at particular time, at the same time, the concrete reaches to the nonlinear zone. Okay, so though concrete reaches to the ultimate zone or nonlinear zone, or you can say inelastic zone, but ultimate load method is still based on the linear elastic theory, because we are calculating stress as per our linear analysis. We are calculating the stress as per our linear analysis. So whatever the stress we will calculate as per the factor load, that will be significantly different from the original one or actual one. What is happening in the actual concrete, that will be somehow different from the stress we are calculating as per our ultimate load method. Because when you are applying the load, ultimate load, that time concrete already reaches to the non-linear zone. But here you are calculating stress as per linear zone. So here what happened, if you are calculating in this graph, it will be easy for you if you see this graph. Here the stress is here as per our working load, and if you multiply it with some constant factor, it will reaches here somewhere. This will be stress as per factor load. But since already reaches to the nonlinear zone, okay, that time the stress will be somewhere here, not this one. Now if you calculate the strain as per the factor load method or ultimate load method, that if you consider the linear elastic theory, the strain will be here. In other way, if you want to judge the strain, so this will be the stress as per our ultimate load method or factor load method, and if you consider the linear elastic theory, this will be our strain. Okay, so whatever the will calculation you will do in as per our ultimate load method, this will be the strain, because still it's based on the linear elastic theory. but in the actual concrete the strain will be somewhere here, which is more. Okay, so basically stress or the strain, whatever the calculation we will do as per ultimate load method, that will be significantly different than the actual concrete, because the concrete already reaches to the inelastic zone, but your factor load method or ultimate load method still based on the linear elastic theory. Okay, so you can say this is one flaws is there in the ultimate load method. You can say there is some conceptual error is there in the ultimate load method. So these are the things are there in the working state method, ultimate load method, and the limit state method. So limit state method basically give you some realistic measure of the design. Since the limit state method considers the safety and the serviceability criteria both, it is giving more realistic design. Though limit state method cannot give you the guarantee that the structure will not fail, but the probability of failure of the structure will be very low.